You're listening to The Next 15, a podcast show for the binge listener covering random topics such as relationships, current news, and everyday life issues. My name is Trey North, and for the next few minutes, I hope to make you laugh, educate, and inspire you. Welcome to the Next 15 podcast show. This is Trey North, and it's Friday, 7 o'clock, and you know what time it is. I'm in the studio with my co-host, Chris McAllister.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? So good to be back in the saddle, in the right seat.
In the right seat. Oh, man, for you guys that missed it, we took off a week.
Yeah.
But the week prior to that, my gracious co-host Chris McAllister had a very awesome episode.
Yay.
Does It Matter? So if you haven't heard that, you need to go back on the website or on Spreaker.com or Next15podcast.com and listen to that episode. So glad to have you back, man, after this 2 weeks for me and a week for you.
Yeah, man. It's actually, again, it really does feel good to be back, man. You know, when you start podcasting, if you will, dude, it turns into like a love for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah, I miss it. I had the blues, but then I was nervous because I was like, oh, man, I've been 2 weeks off.
Everybody ain't able, bro.
Yeah. I want to thank all of the listeners that are listening in, tuning in right now. I see Andrea Clark in the chat room. Thank you so much, Andrea. Yeah. I want to give a big shout out to her. And I want to give also a big shout out to my boy Juan Alaman, who has the 80s Hour and also his Wrestling Way Back podcast that he just started up. Both are really great shows. I want to plug them and all of our sisters and brothers over there at the Drip Podcast. We love you. We thank you so much for your support.
Yep.
They have a dope show as well. Yeah, man. So... let me plug my mom, Stella B. North, on the website at next15podcast.com. She has a blog that she does, a very good blog. I'm so proud of my mom. She's a great inspirational writer, and if you're looking for some inspiration back with some scripture, then you want to head over there to next15podcast.com and hit the blog section and get all you can get.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We also got Miss Erica listening. How you doing, Miss Erica?
Hello, shout out to Erica. So anyway, let's get into it tonight. We're talking about why you're always in my business. You saw the ooh yeah man on there. I'm not gonna say it for branding purposes, but the ooh yeah man. Oh man, we're gonna be talking about how outside influences can affect your relationships.
Yeah, man.
So that's kind of deep too, man. Outsiders, family members, co-workers, whether you're dating or just married. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, and we're going to jump into it, man. I mean, how do you feel about outsiders?
Man, listen, I just recently had my my wedding anniversary here on Tuesday.
Congratulations.
Man. Thank you so very much, man.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No problem at all, man.
No wonder I couldn't get you there.
And, we went through that, I think most relationships at some point go through a little bit of that, man. Especially me and my family, we're so close-knit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As my brother and mama and dad and all that kind of stuff and cousins.
Yeah.
And so is my wife, man. And so having to deal with that is just crazy, and it can turn into something else, man.
Yeah, it can be at sometimes an invaluable source or valuable source.
Yeah.
But then it also could be a crutch,
right?
Or it can be detrimental to your relationship.
Kryptonite.
Oh man, yeah. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about why you're always in my business.
Why you in my Kool-Aid
and don't know the flavor. I hope y'all caught that too on the artwork. I tried to be a little creative.
That was real creative, man. I love that, without saying it, like, why you in my Kool-Aid,
that's for you youngsters out there that may be listening. You don't know nothing about that.
You don't know nothing about no Kool-Aid.
It was an old saying that, when people was in your business, you'd be like, hey man, why you in my Kool-Aid? You don't even know the flavor. That's why y'all saw the different color packages that I was sitting out in.
That was nice marketing, bro. I'll give you that one. Nice marketing.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. So we're talking about why you're always in my business, and man, I tell you what, it. Let's start with friends.
Okay.
In your business.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's usually where it starts.
Yeah. It starts with your friends, man. Your homeboy or homegirl. I don't know if it's worse on the guy's side or on the woman's side. I was having a conversation with my buddy Juan, and he said it's a little bit more messier on the men's side.
Really?
I would have thought because of women, no offense, ladies, but y'all catty. Most men ain't that catty.
We prefer to talk to our homeboys about what's going on.
Well, I guess so, man. Have you ever been in that situation with a homeboy? I'm not saying your business, whether it was being helpful or was it haterade going on?
Oh yeah, man. I've had both. Man,
okay.
I've had both. I've had being in relationships, even prior to my marriage, man, growing up, you can even start way back in, high school. Mm-hmm. Like, the minute that somebody see you talking to somebody, oh, what y'all got going on over there? You know what I mean? That quick saying, man. And I remember back growing up, what happened, I was dating this one young lady, and this dude that I knew, which quote unquote friend, found out he really wasn't a friend. But asking so many questions. Like, how long y'all been talking, man? What is she like? Like, dude, why does it matter? It's my girl, not yours.
Why the interrogation?
Exactly. Well, of course the interrogation because he wanted to talk to her and she wasn't giving him the business.
Hey,
usually
you know what? That's interesting because I took some notes. I always take a little show outline so we can stay on track. But I was looking at jealous for friends, under friends, jealous or envious outside influences. And the friends that what you described that would be definitely fall into that category.
Man. Yeah.
Why is that? Like, and you wasn't even talking to her, dude. You wasn't even thinking about it. But as soon as I grabbed her,
right?
You know what I mean. Now you want to ask questions.
Right.
Now you want to be all in my Kool-Aid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's it to you?
I think it's more like it's that if I can't have her, neither can you. You know what I mean?
So it could have been he got turned or shot down.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
And then you came in.
And swooped in and do what I do.
That's because we got a mic.
I'm just saying.
That's because you got the mouthpiece and he didn't have it.
I can't go on just looks out here no more, man.
Really, I was having a conversation with somebody else about that today. It just wasn't about the looks. The eye candy is there, but you know what I'm saying? It can't just be about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, some friends are jealous, man. And some friends may be jealous because maybe you're not spending as much time with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
They get jealous of that. They might have your best interest at heart, but in the back of their mind, oh man, he or she is pulling them away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you have somebody that you've been running with for a minute.
Man, yeah. You know what? Let me be very, very, very honest, man.
Okay.
Like, I've been that guy too. Like, I've been the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't see that.
Like, I've been the guy that's been in somebody's Kool-Aid trying to figure out, because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Like, what was my problem? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't she talk to me? I went to her first,
That's haterism.
I mean, call it what you want, but but it surely did happen. Man, I had a good friend. Again, a good friend. Now, this is a good friend of mine. We grew up together, man, and we didn't go after the same girl, but we liked the same girl. It was a beautiful young lady, and I thought that, hey, I'm gonna do what I always do, try to talk to her, and she wasn't mean or rude to me, but she kind of turned me down.
Yeah.
But then a week later, my homeboy, who didn't have the mouthpiece, was able to kind of swoop her up off her feet. And I was kind of like, when I talked to him, I was like, hey, congratulations to you, which I really didn't mean it. But, I was like, death to you. No, but like, I was all in his Kool-Aid. I really was, man, trying to just figure out. And I was trying to get information from him to figure out what was wrong with me. That's kind of my thing. I was like, what did I not possess to get her? You know what I mean?
Why you just ask her?
Because
she just wasn't feeling you.
I mean, she just wasn't feeling me.
Yeah.
You know,
there was nothing you did wrong then.
I mean, it's like I guess because I was a church boy, she liked the bad boys.
Okay, well, that's it. Ladies, y'all like bad boys? I see y'all in the chat room. Is that what it was?
Yeah, probably.
So was this a close friend?
Yeah, this was a close friend, man. Like this is.
So you were the jealous one.
Yeah,
the envious one.
Yeah, in that instance, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You didn't want to see him happy, huh?
Yeah, not really. It's like I was that dude. Like it's.
See, I guess I'm the opposite. I was always happy for I never really competed with a guy for a chick.
Really?
Nah. I mean, I was either feeling.
You see how he said that? Everybody he was like, seriously, me?
No, it's not like that. It's just that, like I always like the more popular girls. I didn't go for them because everybody was trying to talk to them.
Okay,
but I still went with the nice looking, eye candy or whatever. But no, I mean, I just went with the ones that nobody was really talking to, and they were kind of quiet and kind of chill and laid back, while the other ones knew they working their jelly. They knew what it was, they knew they were popular, but I didn't want to talk to them because everybody had ran through them, So I didn't want seconds, thirds, and fourths, and fifths.
I will not.
Yeah, I mean that's just how I was.
It's like I want to be the only person that eats off this plate.
Yeah, and then most of the time, me, I get called gullible. I used to, and still to this day, maybe gullible because, like, I could be feeling you, but I respect your disposition, or especially if you're with somebody, I'm not gonna, try to holler. But like maybe like on my job, I don't, there's a lot of women that I see on my job, but they don't.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I guess because I'm at work.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't pay attention, I guess.
I mean, and again, from that friendship standpoint, man, like that being in people's Kool-Aid, like it almost can, like you said, it starts off good. It can always start off good and trickle into kind of a negative connotation, man, because again, I've been in the situation where it started off like a friend, even from the opposite sex. I've been with a lady and then had a friend that was a female that was always, diving in, asking questions, like just like always in our business, like, oh, where y'all going today? Like,
so, but you had no interest in her. Y'all were just cool.
We were just cool friends.
So the meddling chick come in, maybe because she liked you.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't even that. It was just like nosy, like. You know, be a motive. I mean, that's what I would think.
She liked it, her.
I don't know. Touche.
I'm just saying, usually somebody has a motive, or I would think somebody has an ulterior motive especially when they get too personal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, okay, hey, you gonna come chill with us, or you gonna ask questions?
Right. So, but then on top of that, I think she just want to be like somebody counselor. Like she just want to be in the. She want to be in the know.
Okay. See, you know what? That's good. We're gonna. That's a great segue, and we're gonna take a commercial break.
Okay.
And we're gonna address that. You say it again before we go.
She wanted to be somebody's counselor.
That's all I need to know right there. We'll be back right here on the Next 15. Hey, it's Trey North, and I want to personally thank you for supporting the Next 15 podcast show. We are now available on your favorite digital platform. Don't forget to check out the all-new redesigned website, next15podcast.com, where you can listen to seasons 1 and 2 episodes. You can also check out the hot new inspirational blog written by my awesome mom, Stella B. North. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my website for exclusive news, content, and future promos. Again, thank you for your support and enjoy the rest of the podcast. You're listening live to the Next 15 podcast show with Trey North on Spreaker.com. Welcome back to the Next 15 podcast show. And we are talking about why are you always in my business? Yeah. And my co-host made an interesting segue into the show about these friends or so-called friends, outsiders, tipping into the business.
Yeah.
Getting all in your business. And you said, go ahead and tell our listeners what you said.
So there are some individuals in one of my cases that just wanted to be somebody's counselor.
See, those are people that I feel like are controlling and manipulative people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They those, to me, those type of people, they don't really lack. They lack empathy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They don't have, I don't know. I associate it with like emotional pain or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's all about them. It's
Correct.
all about them and their control.
Yeah.
So they want to be in your business or your friendship or whether it's a relationship.
Yeah.
They're always trying to give you advice.
Advice.
But you don't have a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How you going to tell me?
Right.
Or you're not even married.
Right.
How you going to tell me what I should do?
Right. In this situation when you've never been in this situation ever.
Right. So, So I get what you're saying. Like, they want to be somebody's counselor because that's the only role that they have.
Right. And then you just said something real good, man. Like they are manipulative.
Yeah.
Like they are self-indulgent and they want to make sure, like, it's almost, have you ever been a part of a conversation where they actually start to input thoughts in your head that you never even thought? You'd be like,
absolutely.
You know what? She could be doing that. Like, you've never thought about that.
Virus.
Yeah. A coronavirus.
That's a virus, bro.
You know what? That is so crazy because I just thought about that. You're absolutely right.
And then especially if there's somebody that you deem at the time credible, they can make you feel like you gotta prove yourself to them all the time or prove yourself all the time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's manipulative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's toxic. I mean, you're always in like this never-ending state of trying to prove yourself because they disapprove of everything you do. You know what I'm saying? So
and so, like, to the point where, like, it makes it hard for you to be with anybody because they're gonna, like, people like that's always in your business will always see something that you might not see, and some things that you were willing to look over, but they see, they this or he's this or she's that or whatever may have you, and now it has you looking at the person that you deemed that you liked in the beginning, that now you're looking at them in a different way because of somebody else's thought process.
Yeah, I mean, those are the people that raise the bar for you. But then when you get kind of close to that, achieving their expectation of what you should do, then they set it higher. It's like
absolutely.
the guy with the fishing rod and the dollar, and he's jerking the dollar every time you reach for it. What do you guys think? I see Andrea said, well, first question I see, she says, how they in your business if you don't put them in it?
Right.
Because that's true, but then they're your friends. So one would think a true friend you would want their advice.
Right.
Right. And then she says if they're not happy, then they don't want you to be happy. Yeah.
Now that's true.
Yeah. I wonder that more with girls than guys. But then again, you were open and honest about your hateration.
Yeah, man. It's only happened that one time because I stopped caring. I mean, that was high school, but as a grown man, I've never in my life cared. What but like, guys would come to me and try to tell me, "Hey, man," I'd be like, "I could care less, bro." Like, good for you.
Yeah. And then one way you two can also tell is your business getting leaked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the gossip comes too, bro. You have those type of people or those type of friends.
Yeah.
That are just like you said, they want to be a counselor.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Adrian Carter.
Hey.
Thank you for listening.
How you
Brand
doing?
new listener up in here. Okay.
In the building.
In the building. Yeah. Yeah. That's good, man. How do you feel about coworkers in your business?
Oh, man. Now I think coworkers, there's always there's always something back in that with a coworker. And the reason why I say that is because, let's be very honest with it, with a coworker, you spend more time with that coworker than you do at your own home for the most part.
Yeah, you do. You spend 8 hours a day or
see
more.
What I'm saying? And so usually they're trying to play on whatever weakness that you have. So they be in your business trying to see what the other person doesn't do so they can in turn do it. you know, he don't ever pay me no attention. So the dude at work is always sitting there listening to you on your lunch break and trying to give you some type of feedback and all that good stuff, or vice versa. You be like, you know, oh man, she don't never take me seriously, and then your coworker at work is always taking everything you say very seriously and intensely. I mean, you know, I could be wrong, but I always say that there's always something backing that with a coworker.
Do you think maybe it's because they want you? Or I mean, and not even speaking in relationship wise, because that could go for your job. Some coworkers could be in your business going for your job.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Oh, look, Andrea, it's like, how do you trust a quote unquote friend after confiding in them and the business you talk to them about? I guess about gets back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the
with that getting leaked back.
Yeah, I think that's when you start finding out, because if the best way to keep a secret is not telling anybody. But if you're gonna confide in your friend and it gets back and it gets leaked, then you might want to check your integrity of your friendship.
Right, because you should always be able to pinpoint what you said to who. And
right. Yeah.
If what got back to you, you be like, oh, I only told Trey that, so he's the only person that knew that information. If it didn't come from Trey, then we got a hole in the roof here.
Right. Agent Carter says a work husband or a wife. Yeah, that's true. You know, you ever heard that work husband? That's my work husband or my wife. Like, what?
When did that start? Like, that's a good. Like, when did that start? Like,
I have no idea. See, do you associate that terminology with somebody that you're really messing with or that you like, or could that be?
Absolutely.
Ladies, can y'all tell us that?
From a guy's point, I'm telling you, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? I tell you what, let's open up the lines. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get some feedback quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open up these lines for you guys. And the number is going to be 512-827-9164. Again, that number is 512-827-9164. Would love to hear that, because I want to know about that terminology thing.
Yeah, like the work husband, the work wife, man. Yeah. Like I remember, working, and somebody told me,
because they can be in your Kool-Aid.
Yeah, because somebody told me I was a manager, and somebody said, "Oh, that's just Chris' work wife." I'm like, "What?" And it was the fact that was the individual that I did, I would have her go and do stuff.
Right. Okay.
And that was the person I would like. She
was your assistant?
Yeah. She was my assistant. And so I would be like, this is the one that is going to have to get it done, and then it got twisted up. I'm like, oh, that's Chris' work wife. I'm like, wait a minute.
See, that don't even sound right, especially when you're married.
Yeah, I'm married with kids. My wife here didn't kill me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's... Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever dealt with that, the work wife, work husband scenario?
Not when I was married, because everybody knew who I was with.
Right.
But then again, I worked with my wife for 10 years.
Yes, you did, bro.
So I didn't have that. Now, girlfriends that back in the day, that it came up. But I mean, that was when I was younger, and I probably was. I probably was.
That's the whole point. Like, that's like, it can give off a stigma. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, again, like, that quote unquote work wife or that quote unquote work husband, like, that does open the door for them to be in your business.
Yeah.
And they can, again, use that information against you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not just the fact that they want to be with you. It's they can use that information against you.
Oh yeah. To take a stab at your credibility or whatever. I mean, they could be...
Or take a stab at your marriage. One of the...
They could. I mean, like, we just got to talking about people, that's not happy with themselves, always in your in your business.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we have to be conscious of too, if we want to keep people, because my past relationship, I really didn't have my mom or my family members in my business. Right. You know what I mean? I had you guys, my best friends if I needed something, but you never told me what what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just gave me good sound advice.
Right.
The problem is when you started confiding with people or asking their advice, then they seem, that opens the door, an opportunity for them to get in your Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? With them, you know what I mean? And that's when they start asking questions.
Yeah.
And if you got a mouth runner, somebody that like to talk a lot, you know what I'm saying? They like to talk a lot, then your business gets thrown out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was saying, Adrian said, it starts when you start confiding in the opposite sex, looking for advice to get a male or female's perspective. Then they may grow a bond that may become toxic.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's kind of almost what I was saying there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, especially when you're dealing with a controlling and manipulative individual.
Right.
Exactly.
But does it start that way? Like, sometimes it doesn't start that way. It could truly start a friendship. I guess friendship at work, but I'm saying like,
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying, like, if you worked in a place for 10 years and let's say y'all were in training together, and now over the course of 10 years, it's trickled into something. Like, you know what I mean?
You mean like as far as they're catching feelings for you?
Well, not even that. It's just that work wife, work husband, because we've talked now so much. I've talked so much about my kids. She's talked so much about her kids and all of that. She says it always starts off innocent.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything does.
Because to me, it's not about you and the person that you're with. It also, now it becomes a relationship with that other person.
Yes.
They know every move that you make, and they know every situation because you confided in them.
Right.
And if they think that you are a decent man or a woman, then and if they have, they have all alternative motives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily good intentions for you. They might be trying to use that to backdoor themselves in your position.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And which is toxic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when you thinking that they're a confidant.
Yeah.
And they're giving you advice, but the manipulation takes over, and now all of a sudden, he might not be, he ain't what I thought he was. I don't know, girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know if you should, and you're like, for real? Because you don't want to look like a fool, you know what I'm saying? Or even from a guy perspective, you don't want to look like a,
Yeah.
Like
so I'm out here like a gigolo.
Like a jagaloon out here. You know what I mean? So those some good people are they're toxic.
They're toxic, man.
Yeah. Well, so what is the remedy for getting those type of people out of your life?
So at that point,
so once you figure it out, if you hadn't lost your relationship,
you're right. If you're not on the streets by then, looking homeless, looking like Jack Frost. No, but seriously, from a man's, again, I'm going from a man's point of view because I think there's multiple ways depending on the situation.
Okay.
But one of the main ways to me to deal with that is like it's almost like cutting the head off a snake, bro. You gotta kill communication. That's how you kill pretty much anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other relationship. If it's a partnership with business, anything, the same way. You cut the head off the snake by literally eliminating the communication. And that doesn't mean you have to be, mean or vindictive, but you got to stop the communication, and then you have to put the boundaries. Yeah, it sounds harsh, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, no,
that's the door that you open. This is the way to block that door again.
Yeah, I guess so. Adrian Carter, thank you so much for your comments. By the way, I see what you're saying. An emotional type of infidelity, if you're married, probably the worst to get over. Ooh.
Yeah,
because emotional bonds are. That is true.
That's what, and that's really good because a lot of relationships. I'm happy she brought it up. A lot of relationships deal with that because it might not have been a physical quote unquote cheat, but especially for a woman. If a woman is giving another man that attention and that time, man, that means she's feeling that. You know what I mean?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like when you get that's what point I was trying to make. When you getting deep into somebody's relationship, like you going deep, and they telling you, they thinking they coming to you for sound advice.
Yeah,
and and you again, like she says, you get that emotional attachment to that person because y'all have developed a bond,
right?
And you don't want to see that person get hurt,
right?
You could be. I mean, at that point, somebody could be developing feelings for one another at the same time.
Absolutely. And then it trickles into the point where, you know, like if you do try to walk away, it becomes that fatal attraction thing. So it can go down that road. You see what I'm saying? It can go down that road because now you be like, you know, what am I doing? I'm talking to this woman about all my problems. I got a wife and kids, and I know better. Like you come to your senses, and then you try to cut that communication off, and now you find you go out after work and find out that your car has been keyed.
Oh,
you got sugar in your gas tank.
That's true. Y'all ladies need to stop that mess too.
Yeah, please.
I don't know no guys that do that.
Right. Let me backtrack that because when a guy gets emotionally hurt enough, like a woman to key your car, a guy will run the truck into the building.
God.
I've seen that happen, bro.
Is that you?
Yeah, no, it wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. But I was in the building that he ran the truck into.
Oh, God. I tell you what, we're going to take one more commercial break. We're going to get, and when we come back, we're going to talk about family.
Oh, man.
That's always, that's going to be deep.
That's the deep one.
Yeah, family always in your business when we come back right here on the Next 15. Hi, this is Trey North, and I wanted to let you know about the Next 15, an all-new podcast show designed specifically for the binge listener, covering random and sometimes off-the-cuff topics such as relationships, current news, and everyday life issues. This podcast show is interactive, which means you can participate during our live episodes via chat room or podcast line. That's right, you can call in and be a part of my live podcast show. So tune in on Friday nights at 7 p.m. live on Spreaker.com or Next15podcast.com. And if you missed the live show, you can catch up by tuning in on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Before I go, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Next15Podcast. Or you can go to Next15podcast.com and subscribe to get upcoming news, unreleased contents, and our monthly newsletter. This is Trey North, and I'll see you on the Next 15. You're listening to the Next 15 podcast show with Trey North on Spreaker.com. And we're back. This is the Next 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Trey North, with my co-host, Chris McAllister.
Yo.
And we're talking about why you're always in my business.
Yeah, in my Kool-Aid,
and
ladies
don't
and gentlemen.
know the flavor. Hoping you guys are enjoying the show. Please, if you are, share it with somebody. Go to the next15podcast.com and you can check out past episodes that we have. And yeah, you can catch up on episodes. You can subscribe, and we'll send you a newsletter. We also have bonus content that we send out to our subscribers.
Yeah,
and they get first dibs on information that is coming out about our podcast. So
absolutely,
yeah. So when we left, we were talking about friends, but then we're going to switch it up a little bit and talk about how family can get into your business and how damaging that could be. Now that's rough right there. So you want to kick it off?
Let me kick this.
Okay, let's go with it.
This is so detrimental because you hold your family. Most of us, not all, but most of us hold our family in such a high esteem. If it's a mom, it's a dad, or it's a sister, brother, uncle, cousin, grandma, whatever may have you. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we generally take their advice.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Or it's.
You know why? Because they're the most influential people in our lives, and that we trust. Right. We trust them.
Yeah, they're the reason why you are the way you are.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so
true.
Yeah, they're the reason why you are the way you are. And at the end of the day, man, like again, let me give a scenario so people can kind of understand, man. I remember when me and my wife were dating. Okay. There were some people, man, on both sides of our families, close family, man, that was just in a disagreement. They were in our business trying to figure out why y'all together, why this, why that, you know, and all the hoopla and everything like that. And so me and my then girlfriend / fiance had to make the decision, man, like, you know, what do we do? And you know, my suggestion or my kind of antidote to that situation was like, let's move. And we did.
Wow.
Like literally.
Wow.
We moved within.
Was that when you were married or when you was about to be?
Yeah. Right after we got married.
Okay.
Right after we got married, man, a lot of people didn't agree.
Right.
By the way, let me say this. When I got married, bro, like we only like invited like maybe 80 people. Over 200 and some people showed up at my wedding, bro. Like, yeah, bro.
How did that happen?
Man.
Because of family members?
Man, yeah.
You know it.
I'm like,
I get it.
Over 200 people? I don't even know that many people offhand. Anyway.
I even got 4 fridges.
Yeah, exactly. My homeboys. And then, like, literally 2 weeks after we got married, bro, we moved. We didn't tell nobody. People had to find out that we moved.
Sometimes you have to go to that.
Yeah, man. And so that's what we had to end up having to do, man, because our families like just always in your business, you know, like nothing against, you know, love my mother-in-law, love them, you know, even my mom, man, you know, love her. Willie Mae, hopefully if you listen to this, I'm sorry. But they just was always in our business, and you know, at one point they didn't like each other. So, you know,
so see
so,
that, that's grit.
Yeah.
That's grit, because if you don't have the parents
right
walking in agreement with one another, then your side gonna think that they always right versus the other side, so that puts y'all in between that. You know what I mean? And that can cause dissension between you and your wife.
Absolutely.
That's a devil trick right there.
And it almost did. You know, you had one side was saying, you know, he's too young. You had the other side saying that again, like she got too much going on for herself, for him, you know what I'm saying, for her to raise another kid, like all kind of stuff. You know, and so all of that we had, you know, and so
So just for those who don't know, how much older is your wife?
My wife is 8 years older than I am. Yeah, she is 8 years older than I am. Most people thought that our relationship wasn't gonna last, you know, any time, man. And so again, after this past week, we celebrated 15 years, bro.
Praise God, bro.
So 15 years of marriage, and
y'all still going?
Yeah,
because you got family out your business.
Exactly. 17 years of being together, 15 years of being married.
Now, how was? Okay, so you moved. You chose to move your wife and your family.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that doesn't happen.
Yes.
You know, and I get it. Some, you know, family, they can be overprotective. They can just be trying to look out for you, but causing more damage than good. You know what I mean? So I understand that. I think a lot of times when your family's in your business, it's probably placated on the fact that you're having problems within your relationship, and you want to seek the advice. Again, we're talking about family now. You know, your mom or dad or somebody close to you, not the friends, but you want to seek the advice of those that you grew up with or that you trust. You know, you trust their opinion, you trust their integrity, and you feel like, hey, they're going to give you the best advice. And then you have opened up that can of that can of worms, you know, for lack of better words. And now that it invites them, so now it's hard at that point to get them out your business. You know what I mean? You know, and that, to me, that's a situation when it's causing more damage than good. And it's just
and then you find out that, like, you find out the willpower of the other individual in the relationship.
Explain that.
You find out if they're able to not be able to tell that family member.
Okay, you saying the strength of your relationship, or the strength of their mindset? Yeah,
but I had an aunt, man, and I'll give this story. I had an aunt that came to my wife, dude, and said some off-colored things to her. And again, we were married. You know what I mean? We were married, and she came and told my wife some stuff that really, really hurt my wife. That really hurt her. And literally, man, I called a family meeting I called a family meeting, and I got uncles and I hate this. I'm not gonna say that, but like I said I got in there, bro. Yeah. Like, and everybody found out who Chris McAllister was that day.
Wow!
Like everybody who showed up, because there were some people who didn't show up, but everybody found out real fast. Okay, all right, because I was like this. Right. Never will I have ever asked for your permission.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
at the end of the day, I can tell you all what you can do with it. You know what I mean?
That's it's fascinating because when we got married and you were there, you didn't have nothing to say.
Right.
I mean, you came in there and ate the food.
Right. The free food. You were there.
You partied with us.
Yeah.
In fact, I drove you home because you were drunk.
It's my wedding day. What did you do? Like you were in the limo with us. What are you doing?
Wow.
But yeah, man, and so at that point you begin to see when people's family are in your relationship, you begin to see if they for you or not. Yeah. To be very honest with you,
I got you.
You'll see if they for you or not, because at the end of the day, the Bible says, you leave and cleave. You know what I mean?
And cleave, yeah.
And so with that being said, is like if this is the person you chose to spend the rest of your life with, right. Sometimes you have to go against the better judgment of family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's your life, not.
Well, it's your bond. Yeah. It's your covenant with that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you guys have made, whether you make a mistake or not. Right. I think family should be. I think. Let me ask this question.
Okay.
Let me ask the listeners a question, guys, and you guys can call in at 512-827-9164.
Yeah.
Do you think that that it's best not to get your family involved in? I mean, in a situation. I mean, because everybody needs guidance. I mean, everybody could use some good sound advice. And I'm not saying that every time you ask family for advice, it could be something that could be detrimental to your relationship with that person. But I'm just saying, is that a door that you open, or perhaps that's when it comes in? I guess the mother or the family member you trust within themselves would have,
it's their maturity.
Yeah, okay.
It's their maturity. At the end of the day, I didn't go to my parents. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't go to my parents for any advice within my marriage until I felt confident that their answer wasn't going to be biased.
And I understand that because you said there was some dissension in the beginning between the two. So
right,
I get that.
And that took years. So my counseling when it came to marriage didn't come from the McAllister household.
Okay, that's fair.
It just didn't. I had to go to the outside. It's still in the the realm of faith, but it didn't come from any family member. So they didn't know the history. They didn't know what was going on. Right. So they came in, with that. And so those are the doors I opened up, that it was going to be plain Jane.
Right.
But but everybody's not like that. Everybody's family's not like that.
No, I get it. Yeah. But, I mean, because when you think of family, if it was my mom, she'd be looking out in the best interest for me. What's best for me, not for you. You know what I mean? Get rid of her.
Yeah, exactly.
Stella B. North would have been like,
exactly.
I don't know. Back then. I'll do this I love you, Mama.
I love you, Mom.
She's gonna shut this whole operation down one day. She's gonna be knocking at my door, be like, "Hey,
no more stories about me.
Leave me out." No, but I'm just saying, I respect that. Going to somebody who's not biased. I think also what problems that we might run into is seeking advice of those who, not correct me if I'm wrong, or with your opinion. Who didn't have successful marriages. Like, would you seek advice from a person that had a failed marriage? I'm not saying that they can't offer good advice, but I'm just saying, would that be a wise decision to put somebody in your business like that?
So at the end of the day, I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no. Only, and I know this is going to make me sound. The only reason why I say no is that at the end of the day, if I'm gonna ask somebody how to run a business, I'm not gonna ask somebody who tanked.
Okay, let me. I do this all the time. The advocate, yeah,
absolutely.
So just So one would say, okay, I get your point, but however, the one that tanked might have some beneficial information,
right?
That, you know, maybe they didn't recover from being tanked and they say, okay, I'm done. But they might have some valuable information to put you on the right path that they didn't do, but that they later found out, you know, would have been. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand that too. I mean, I agree with that, but I would still be like, okay, you know, great, but I don't want to. Man, that sound, now that I said out loud.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would still see, like, okay, my mom, oh gosh.
Yeah.
No, she was divorced. Okay. So, but I would think my mom would have some type of knowledge.
Right.
You know, because, you know, we all, part of life is making mistakes. Correct. You know, as parents, we make mistakes.
Correct.
And we're, you know, because to be fair, then that would put you in a position of not being able to raise your child. Your child couldn't come and ask you for something. You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
Because you made mistakes, you know, but we all make mistakes, and we don't want our kids to do the same things that we have. Right. So I would think in a situation, in that situation, that you would have something to offer. Absolutely.
I agree with you on that. But again, for me, at the end of the day, it's going to be like, yes, you have something to offer, but I'm not going to be able to take everything that you you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to pick and choose what I listen to, because even in that, there might still be some regret, or there might be some animosity.
True.
You know, so I would have to take that with what I could get out of it. You know, like I say, when it comes to a successful marriage, like, so, you know, if, let's just say, quote unquote, you know, me and my wife got a divorce, and now my daughters are talking to my wife. Okay. If she's still harboring some feelings towards me, she might tell my daughter that all men are dogs.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And so until, again, that maturity, you know, that's a good one though. You kind of got me on that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because you know, like in some of the way we and I just put this that mentality is, I hear it in churches. Like, you know, are you gonna go to somebody that you know had a failed marriage, but that person might, you know, even through failure, we still learn from our past mistakes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily disqualify that person from giving it sound advice. I think it depends on the maturity of the person. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because if you have a person that's biased, all men are dogs, then evidently we know that person's still bitter and carrying some luggage around that they hadn't really, you know, deposited or dropped off, you know, withdrawal. So, yeah, I see Adrian Carter says it's best to evaluate the question first from both sides. What may the outcome be with your family after the storm is over, after you have two gone back to being good with each other, but family is still upset? It may cause tension in your relationship or tension in the family. Yeah.
I mean, and that's.
But then that would be like what you said, the situation where your parents and her parents at that point in time did not get along.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think you can't ask anybody that because, again, I'm going to look out in the best interest of mine.
I'm looking for I'm best interest for my daughter or my son.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, and the problem though, I truly begin to think of it, because I can only go off of my history, is that when your family starts to get in it, you start to look at the other person's family and be like, is this what you're about to turn it? Like
now the apple don't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so because this is what they were raised in, and so you would think that there's something in you that's going to feel this way at some point in time, you know, because this is what you've heard the last 20, 30 years.
That's true.
You know, is that how you feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we might be a mixed couple right now, but as you get older, you know, are you gonna call me the N-word when you get mad enough? You know,
I get what you're saying. Are you? Like
I can take it from a black woman, but if you white, you call me that, I'll burn this house down. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just messing. That's just a
but
joke.
That's true, because then you. Ooh,
I know.
That's another show. That's
another
podcast.
It is. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, when you think about it that way,
yeah,
like again, it's so hard. Here's the thing, me and my wife, we got married. We grew up in the city with a lot of our family inside that town. It wasn't a big town. It wasn't Austin. It wasn't Houston, Dallas. We, in a place called Henderson, Texas. Population none. You know what I mean? No, but it was Henderson, Texas, where literally, it might have been 50.
Okay, so that everybody's in everybody's business,
right? And so that's why the first thing I did was move, right? Because if you're in that situation, it is not going to stop until you remove yourself. And remember, this is right before cell phones were super big. Remember, like everybody didn't have cell phones. When I got married, and me and her were dating. I was just coming off the pager. You know what I mean?
Oh God!
Yeah, and literally, I had to, and literally, right after I got married is when I got my second cell phone. Okay. Right after I got married is when I got my second cell phone. My first cell phone was in college, and at that point, you wasn't finna run your minutes up just talking about a bunch of nothing.
Well, touche.
So my wife wasn't doing a whole lot of calling, and that's what made us real strong because for so many years she had nobody to vent to, and neither did I. Like when we got at each other's throats, at the end of the day, it was still just me and her. You know what I mean? And so that built a bond of, at the end of the day, it's me and her versus the world, kind of Bonnie and Clyde kind of ordeal.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys think? Y'all got anything to offer? We're going to start wrapping it up here soon. We try to keep it within an hour. We don't want to take, you'll never get that hour back.
Yeah.
But if you have any comments and you want to get in, give us a call at 512. I always do that.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
bad because I don't know.
So it's 512-827-9164.
Yeah, give us a call and let us know what you think. Before we get out of here, any closing comments?
Yeah, man. My closing comment would only be that if you're in a relationship and you got people in your Kool-Aid, understand at the end of the day, whoever you're in the relationship with, is that as long as you both know the flavor that you're serving, that's all that matters. Now some advice is good advice.
Right.
Everything doesn't work for everybody.
Right. Everybody's situation different.
Everything don't work for everybody. And so, keep it at a minimal. You're not going to always keep everybody out your business. Let's not go in here and be foolish and think that there's never going to be anybody in your business. Absolutely they are. But just know who needs to be in there and who doesn't need to be.
I think my closing comment on that would be, if you do choose to confide in somebody, maybe it be somebody that you both mutually trust.
Yes.
In the relationship that is unbiased.
Right.
That is really that want to see you make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of offering the problem, they offering a solution.
Right.
Instead of them, speaking problems, they have a solution for it that works best for your relationship. Because literally when we do go to someone, it's because we trust their opinion, especially when it comes to family or friends. You have some good close friends, and like you said, everybody's advice, it doesn't work. What worked for you in your past relationship or in your current relationship might not work for me in my household,
right? Because
we're all different people, and we're from different places. But I think when it comes down to seeking advice, you have to also draw a line at what because there's some things that you want to keep sacred between you and your significant other.
Yes.
You don't, everybody don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some things you just need to get on your knees and pray about, especially if you're married, or even if you're getting ready to get married, you need to sit down and pray about it. And those are deep conversations that have to take place even before you decide to cross that bridge. You know what I mean? Because you definitely don't want to enter into something already with a problem that you haven't solved yet. You know what I mean? That's not wise.
Right.
Decision making. You're setting yourself up for failure. So no matter who you ask, you are already in a situation before you even get into a new situation.
Right.
So that would be my my final comment. So
what's up, man.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast on Why You Always in My Business.
In my Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Thank everybody for listening. Thank you, Andrea Clark, Adrian Carter. Thank you. Who else? Erica Vargas. Thank you so much. And Stella B. North. I know you probably in there listening.
Hey, Mom.
So thank y'all for tuning in. You can catch us next Friday at 7 p.m. Follow us at Next 15 Podcast on both Instagram and Facebook platforms, or you can go to next15podcast.com, subscribe, and get instant access in our newsletter to upcoming shows. We got something coming up next week really good for y'all. I don't want to drop it right now, but if we don't have anything else, then, man, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys on the Next 15.